Welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. Today I am reviewing A Drowned Kingdom, Book 1 of the Drowned Kingdom Saga by P.L. Stuart. In a time when many fantasy characters act and speak like people of our own time and place, doing cosplay, P.L. Stuart bestows upon us a living and breathing epic world steeped in lore and worldviews that differ from our own. The premise of the story begins with the myth of Atlantis, but I feel personally that there is an even stronger influence from the classical epics, especially the Aeneid, a tale of a kingdom that is founded from a civilization's ashes by a God-favored, or perhaps God-favored, hero. This is an ancient-feeling world that is beautifully realized, but it also invites the readers to explore its assumptions, especially through its main character and narrator, Othron. Now, Othron is a richly realized, nuanced character. I expected, based on what I had heard about him, to dislike him intensely, and there were certainly moments when I did, but I also found myself liking him and even rooting for him at times. His is a voice that is a window into a world with its very own ideals, such as honor, loyalty, and courage. But from our modern eyes, these ideals can bleed into aggression, tribalism, and prejudice. The Atlanteans most certainly do conceive of themselves as superior to all other civilizations, and that they have a God-given right to dominate others. There also are internal hierarchies within this civilization that we as modern people outside of that civilization view as, at the very least, unjust and oppressive. And yet, amidst all this, Othron can be incredibly self-aware. I have actually a little bit of hope for the character, in spite of his arrogance, this self-awareness, where he acknowledges his biases. He even questions his racism is something that gives me a bit of hope for him. And he is not, by any means, the most prejudiced of the Atlanteans. For that, you can look to his uncle Yedwall, who is a bit of a crusty character, but is revered for his accomplishments. That said, he is such a rigid and prejudiced character that even Othron cringes at times because of some of the things that his uncle says and believes. And yet, P.L. Stuart does not preach to us ever in this book. Instead, he creates attachment to his characters, these very flawed characters, and invites the reader to explore things like racism and jingoism and xenophobia. Another aspect of his storytelling that is really well realized is the religion here, or the religions, I should say. There's almost a biblical resonance to the storytelling. And certainly the Atlanteans are a culture, a people convinced of their superiority and their divinely chosen status due to their monotheism. That is the excuse that they give to harm and dominate others, their monotheism. They are, though, however, in the course of the story, forced to interact with others. The Atlanteans are in the process reminded of their own past and their possible future. It is as if a mirror is held up to them, and characters like Othron do not always like what they see in the mirror. In fact, Othron has a tendency to want to erase the past, to make propaganda out of history. And this is another really subtly, beautifully inserted theme by P.L. Stuart. It's Othron's introspection that gives rise to a lot of these themes. But this is also a very action-packed story with duels and pitched battles and a world-rending cataclysm. And there are other well-realized characters in the story too, besides Othron. They just step out of ancient myth and epic, but they also have their individual personalities that P.L. Stuart takes his time to portray for us. I would also like to give a shout out to a couple of my favorites, a couple of Othron's loyal cousins, and also the witch Lycie. Some great characters in here that I think most readers are going to enjoy thoroughly, with a lot of their very own internal contradictions and conflicts. that impact the storytelling in some very intriguing ways. So I am most definitely excited to continue in this series. There are 3 books out in the series already, and P.L. Stuart is planning to release the 4th book in 2024. His plan is to release 1 book a year until all 7 books in this epic series have been finished. So that is it from me for now. Until next time.